That's a positive. That's the only circuit that's on. It's the same circuit that the wall switches are on all the way around the room. And, yep, my remote turns on the fan, which is on the wall. So let me explain what happened. Over the years, this house got built in '64, and so it has these old electric ceiling radiator systems, and most of them are burnt out. And what we did is we capped them off and reused the circuits for the heat pump. Well, this electrician I had, he was really arrogant and rude. I told him, I said, reuse the circuits for the heat pump, for the heat pump up here. Reuse this. Well, what he did is he put that circuit for the heater on the same breaker down here. Instead of knocking out a block or reworking the panel or whatever he needed to do, he just threw it on the outlet here. You can see it's the only one that's on, is that circuit that we just tested. And in case you want to know who that is, there's his tag from when they came out here. And these guys, yep, Premier Electrical. I will look them up. But they came out in '17, and that's when they installed the heat pump. So, and the heat pump has to have its own outlet outside so that if the guys need to vacuum down the system, they don't have to run a cord. They go from the pump motor to the outlet without any interruptions, so within 6 feet. Well, he put an outlet on the outside wall just for that. But the thing he did that really pissed me off is I had told him reuse the old ceiling zones, and if we can, leave the south end of the house connected, so that because those zones work, and that'll give me a little booster back there in the wintertime. All right, I think the plane's gone by now. You can hear me. So leave those zones working out in the back of the house, which is an addition, by the way. And I can use those for really cold times or storms, or as a backup if the main heat pump should fail for some reason. I have multiple sources of things, especially in the Northwest. Well, he didn't like that he had to do more work in figuring out what zone had what controller and blah, blah, blah. He just said, well, why don't we just take the outlet to the shop, which is 220. I'm like, no, it's not what I told you to do. Why would I give up my underground service to the shop that has power tools? Because you're too lazy to fucking figure this out? Pretty much. And then he's like, oh, you have a hot tub. Let me take it from your hot tub. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. He didn't like that answer either. I don't think he likes women much, to be honest. He sure doesn't like women homeowners. But this guy was an arrogant prick. Honestly, he really was. I did not like him when he first came out. Well, I didn't have the call because it was the vendor who put the heat pump in that chose this guy, but I wouldn't have him back while here to save my life. There's that. No. So he put it on the same circuit as the outlets. And I don't think that's kosher. And so it's overheated. And that whole circuit is what's been cooking off and short-circuiting and causing problems because it's a huge load on that dude. Now, I'm not an electrician. I've been around a few, but I'm not trained in that. That's why I hire professionals. So when they come out I expect them to leave the job in good condition. I didn't expect this bullshit. This is really bad, I think. I think it's a bad idea to run ceiling heat on outlets. And so, Talbot and associates that came out and did their so-called investigation, they didn't find this. So here's what I'm going to do. So I went on Amazon tonight and I ordered 10 wall blanks. They're just a flat, smooth light switch panel that has no openings. It's just blank. And we're going to use those to cap off the system. I have a box of wire nuts here for using on houses. And these are the only way you want to shut down an electrical system. So I'm going to open up the thermostat. I'll turn off the main to the house first. And I'll open up each thermostat in the rooms I want to abate this on. And that's why I bought these, is I had planned on doing this anyway. And then I got not feeling good. So we're going to, then I'll cut the wire back and get rid of anything that's been stripped so that there's some insulation on there. I will put a wire nut on there and then I'm going to tape it. And then we will put a wall blank on with no thermostat. So all the thermostats will come out. We'll basically cap off the system. And that will take it out of the circuit of this wall. At that point, I have this set in the off position now, and I've got the temperature turned down to 40 degrees and a hold. So it should stop functioning here pretty soon. And my air will show that if it does, which I think it will, because it's every day about this time that it perks up and it starts giving me fits. And I think it wasn't the smart meter as it might have been this guy. But you can see that PM 2.5, that's particles size, that 29, that's a really bad number. And the PM1 is not good either. Those are very toxic greenhouse gases. And the fact that the CO2 is below 600 is good, but that PM 2.5, that's what's causing my lung damage. So, fingers crossed that this is the thing, the big thing. There are other things, like I'm going to put a new outlet on the oven. But this could also be why the oven was acting up, is they're both 220. So, yeah. The heat has stopped coming out of the ceiling now. So, that facial redness, well, some of that's caustic from overheated wires smoldering. But I think the rest of it is the fact that ceiling has just been hot from that stupid thing. And then every time I'd open the windows and ventilate and blow it out, that was drawing more power off of the same circuit. Okay, so it took a bad situation and made it worse. But ventilating is the only thing I could do to manage it at the time. So now that I think I have a better handle on it, we will see how the rest of the night goes. No promises, because there's no guarantees in this event. Everything is acting horribly at this point and not behaving as it should. But the fact that that's on the outlet circuit, that's bad. I think that's really bad. So I heard a click earlier and I thought, God, that sounds like one of my old thermostats turning on. And there was nothing out here that should have driven that sound, but it's an old familiar sound that I recognize. And I was start thinking about ceiling heat, and that's what got me into looking in, is hearing that click. Thermostat clicks on, that's because the temperature's coming down. It had a preset, and it just happens to be coming down around 5 p.m. every freaking day. And here we are, close to 5 p.m., and it's coming down. Thermostat kicked on. Well, that got the party started. Now, we're smoldering and we're off gassing and the facial burning is increasing and the air quality is taking a dive. So we'll see. There's probably more problems than I'm gonna find, but at least I think this one I'm gonna be able to abate it, get rid of the thermostat so it cannot click on, so the circuit will be open from now on, and open circuit doesn't work, only closed. So the circuit will be open with insulators on both ends, taped up, blank put on there, no more thermostat, and this zone will be part of the archives of history, so to speak. No further action is warranted. Now, if I end up getting a new circuit panel, we will abate those wires on the other end as well and get rid of them. I'm not going to do that now. I will put it on my list for an electrician when they get here to do, but I'm not going to go in there because I don't do that. I'm not trained for it, and I don't feel comfortable doing it, so I won't do it. But I will put it on my list, and it will be addressed down the road when I get an electrician to show up. But I think this is a really good day right now that I found something that isn't right with the system, and it was done by a professional. Yeah, well, we'll see. Stay tuned, guys. I got to the pulmonology people today after 3 weeks from the hospital. They're in no rush to get me in. So I'm like, talk to my doctor. Please send another urgent referral this time. Mark it urgent. And see if I can get in. But I guess there's a shortage of pulmonologists here in Oregon, especially Eugene. Who knew? Anyway, if we can get this thing shut down and stop operating, that'll be great news. In addition, I can, because I tried it today, I can run the circuit heat in the back of the house, the ceiling heat, which the master bathroom and the master bedroom both still work in those zones. And so we'll be able to have some heat from the ceiling tonight, and it won't be 52 degrees with little popsicle kitties that make me feel terrible. So very good news if we can warm everybody up. All right, guys, I know it's a lot. I had to move out of the camper. It just got really bad on there about 4:30 in the morning, and I slept for about 4 or 5 hours maybe, and then came in the house because it was just so bad. Ironically, I think the camper is on the same fucking circuit as that breaker. I mean, what are the odds? So slim that it's on the same panel. That's another reason. And both refrigerators, freezers are out there, those two units are running on the same panel. So I think it's all interconnected. We'll see. There's more to the story once we get behind that panel and have a look at it and see what we find. But yeah, this, at the very least, this heater will not come on again, which I would be thrilled for. So yeah, I'm going to cap that off and put a blank plate on it and then never think about it no more. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.